I'm trying to figure out how to get to 74, back to 74 subscribers. And see the latest news that D'Angelo is no longer with us. Rest in peace, right? It's crazy. 51 years old. D'Angelo is definitely hip hop, and he is one of the originators, along with who would I say? Jill Scott, but Mary J. Blige more so of that. The neo soul is what we were calling it, and his baby mama, who also passed away this past year, Angela Stone, right? So Malcolm Jamal Warner. I mean, we losing a lot of Gen Xers. It's crazy. It's crazy indeed. This is Volothan Modulus Tautology. I'm gonna do my best not to be somber. And I mean, I just and Snuff. I was scrolling. And I seen Snuff the first to share that information. Snuff is a childhood friend. We went to the same elementary school and lived right around the corner from me. So he had the breaking news that D'Angelo, the famous hip hop. I don't consider it R&B. You know, they call it neo soul, or just to create different genres. But I wanted one more album out of D'Angelo. I mean, that last album, D'Angelo and the Black Messiah, is a genius album. It's one of my favorites. I do like it more. So I mean, out of his, so that's his third album. He only gave us three albums. Um, One, two, three, yeah. So he gave us a trilogy, and it's one of the greatest trilogies of from Brown Sugar to what was the name of the second album? I'm trying to remember now. Devil's Pie, is that the name of the second album? I'm trying to remember now. How does it feel? Can't even think right now. So I know. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share. This is Volothan Modulus Tautology. Yeah, I might be repeating myself on this one today. Yeah, I'm at 73 subscribers on YouTube. I'm gonna share another link. All the links are all on my page. I'm gonna share a link to this one over there. I've been sharing all of my videos over the Facebook first, and then I'll share a link over to the YouTube because I'm trying to get my YouTube up. Facebook, I'm at 474 or something like that, or no, 700. I can check that real quick too. I have a lot of Facebook followers. I think I'm at 749. I'm trying to get that up to 750. Let me check that stat real quick. And those are the basic stats that I'm looking at right now. 759 followers on Facebook. So I'm trying to get that up to 76, 760. And then my YouTube, I'm trying to get that to 70, back to 75. I was at 75, I think. Or I was at 74 for the longest time, but somebody unsubscribed. But they probably got blocked. That's what happens a lot of times. People get blocked, or they lose their access to their account, and this and that. I'm moving around a little bit to show you that I am real time. This is the Nintendo 64 on the Nintendo Switch. It comes with the Nintendo Online. A lot of great games. One game that I want to play is this Jet Force Gemini. I never got a chance to play it. One day I'm gonna play it, and I'll try to do some gameplay with that one. What kind of genre is this game? I really don't know. I'm still talking about social studies, and I'm comparing it to politics, and I prefer to call it civics now. Denominational civics is the term that I'm going to use in explaining the difference between a political ideology and what we teach in the schools, which would be social studies. That's what my son is going over now, um, with his introduction to social studies in high school. And they basically showing, talking about geography, where I think geology would be the minerals of the rocks, the study of the rocks and stuff, where geography is the people of the land. So this is our land, and that's what I like to stress to him, that we are B1. That means that on day zero, because this is 2025, the year of our Lord, and D'Angelo was a young 51. Wow. So make sure y'all get checked out and get the doctors, and that's what I'm going through. I'm going through a lot of medical things myself. But diet, exercise, and make sure we're doing all those things too. Whether it's mental, physical, or spiritual, right? That's practicing helps the longevity of life. Practicing a healthy lifestyle. I need nothing else but health, wealth, and knowledge of self, right? So keep working at it, and we'll get there. We'll get there. I'm gonna share directly. I'm gonna share a little bit of Fox News. So fair use of the 1976 copyright law. I'm gonna share Fox News today. I was gonna go Dennis, and it's like no. I shared a little bit of Dennis yesterday or the day before. I put links in the description. Go over there and check Dennis Sperling out. He calls himself Uncle D. We're the same. He's a little bit younger than me, so I'll call him Uncle D. I just out of respect, because I do respect him as a black lawyer, and him expressing just how hard and difficult it is to be a black lawyer in a society where it's 1.5 million lawyers, and he represents less than 4% of the population of black lawyers. Black lawyers is a very, very small amount of people, yet he's realizing that all of the lawyers that attacked Trump were black. Like, that's statistically, and that's where my specialty comes in, being an actuary science, which is one of my degrees. My main focus has always been abstract mathematics, though, which it's harder to sell, because now when you're dealing with abstract, it is more, what is a set? You know what I mean? You don't need numbers. It's more the ideas and whether or not we're inventing the mathematics with algebraic symbols, and how does the ideology transforms from axioms to definitions and theorems, and transforming the language such that it's an art form of logic or laws of reasoning to be able to really prove or disprove the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics of life. I know that was a mouthful. It does make sense. That's where concepts come into play, as the triadic, whatever. Right now, I am on my theology tip, but I don't want to confuse people when trying to explain how religion, politics, and scientific spirituality is actually a way of life, and hence we write the program for the AI. That's why robots are they're non-conscious beings. We are the consciousness that God has blessed and blew life into, and we are going to continue to breathe this life form, this life, forever and ever and ever and ever, or until the sun blows up in 1 billion years, right? So does the prediction of scientific study, or whatever prophecy continues. So right now we are at the cusp of Star Trek, which is supposed to happen in the future. but I miss Star Wars, which happened a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And there it is. I mean, that's it in a nutshell. The difference between nonfiction and science fiction. So we'll get more into the explaining all of that too. So, but I did want to share some. I'm going to share some the president because all this just just going to be disrespectful to Trump, just to be disrespectful to Trump is the ignorance that's why and Derek's my boy. I you know what I'm saying, we went to school together, you know light skin, you know he not Puerto Rican. He's that's why I tease him and say he's more Hawaiian than Puerto Rican. So stop all that acting like he Mexican and stuff, Um, he has the same lineage as The Rock, should I say? Um, and we've been, that's what we do. We used to do it in college together. Just bust on each other. You know what I mean? We ain't fight over the girls and nothing like that. And you know what I mean? Because that's what really is the ignorance of what that group is doing. Them, they, their, those people. And it's not just them. It is Antifa. Antifa is a disguised organization. Yes, they are white supremacists too, and they play both sides of the fence. I mean, because that's how you do it. It's you play both sides of the fence to hide from your evil ways, your superiority complex, or whatever ego and super ego you want to self-analyze in trying to explain the psychological ideologies of life. So, but when it comes to Trump, that's why I did it with when it comes to black mayors. I'm pointing specifically at Eric Adams of New York because he's about to lose his seat as the mayor of the city. I'm going to share a couple videos of him over these next couple days and what he has been going through. And I'm going to share, what is his name? The mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson. Both of them are committed to their, wives. You know what I mean? Even though Eric Adams is his partner, and therein is where we get to the quote unquote hypocrisy of what is adultery, and we'll get more into that later on too. Because, or what is marriage, because we're still dealing with the issues that Barack created when he took the word gay, multiplied it, or made it a product with marriage, but changing the fundamental definition of gay to sexual deviancy. When I grew up as a kid, gay meant spin around and fall down and laugh at life because it's gay. Ha! It's a childlike state. It's Peter Pan. I don't want to grow up. But once you hit 12, 13, 14, it's no, Peter. You now have to grow up to be a man. And hence the movie Hook came out. And I want to see that again. I do want to. That's another movie I want to watch with my son. I tried watching The Matrix the other day. And he wasn't really. He was into Mario, Mario Galaxy. He was playing on the thing. He wasn't paying attention, and even after he bounced out, I watched all three movies again because I watched the end of the second one and the third one of Men in Black like 4 days ago. And I just say, let me watch the first one with my son, and then I ended up watching all three of them again last night. So, but there it is. I mean, I'm just running off everything that's going down and trying to relate all things as the culture, because hip hop is an American culture created by us, the children of the 1960 Civil Rights Movement. We want to say that it started with Ruby Bridges, Claudette Colvin, and Emmett Till? We could. Emmett Till will be a unique one because he's a child of Chicago. So back in 1955 is when he was executed by going down to Mississippi, and his funeral became a pivotal point in our culture. So if you want to say hip hop started in Chicago in 1955 because of his death, you can. I will respect that, and and of course Chicago has the culture of black people, and two of my favorite all-time favorite, three of my all-time favorite MCs are Common, Lupe, and Mick Jenkins. I do like Mick Jenkins, but Kanye, I guess Kanye, but Kanye's actually from Chicago. I mean Atlanta, and then moved to Chicago. And same with Mick Jenkins. Actually, I think he's from Alabama and moved to Chicago. But it is what it is. It ain't where you're from. It's where you're at. Or is it? Is it ain't where you're at? Is where you're from. And though that's the debate right there that Rakim and Daddy O have been having. But I'm gonna jump into this quick video of Trump, and just watch, because it is him signing executive. It's real news, I guess, if you want to, quote unquote. But it's going to be Fox, and it's going to be about him signing his presidential orders recently, about a couple months ago, and now we can look at what those effects are of him signing those things, and that's why I wanted to share this, because of all the things that have transpired over the past couple months since his inauguration back in, and him signing all these executive orders. So we're going to get back into it, and I'm going to hit the pause button and check it out, and I will be back, and I'm going to play a little bit of Harvest Moon, is because I'm still doing a little bit of farming, and we'll be right back. I'm not even going to switch screens because this is key to foundational Black American life. All right, so I hope y'all understood all of that. It's only like 7 minutes, and it looks like I'm gonna be a 30-minute video, and I'll be back in 5 for, check it out.
This country started, and I can tell you who did it, when, but I don't want to do that, because others followed pretty quickly. But that was when it happened. Somebody kills somebody, they go in, don't worry about it, no cash, come back in a couple of months, we'll give you a trial. You never see the person again. And I mean, they kill people and they get out. Cashless bail. They thought it was discriminatory to make people put up money because they just killed 3 people lying on a street. Any street all over the country, cashless bail. We're ending it, but we're starting by ending it in DC, and that we have the right to do through federalization. Okay, let's go. Could I ask you to say exactly what this is?
Of course. So, as you've consistently identified, sir, cashless bail policies are a key driver of the disorder we see on city streets all over America. Catch and release system allows criminals to keep going back out onto the street and reoffending. What this executive order does, it charges your attorney general with identifying jurisdictions all over the country that have cashless bail policies, and then it withholds or revokes federal funds and grants that are flowing to those jurisdictions to ensure that we're only supporting the people who have reasonable common sense policies around crime.
So what area does it cover?
Potentially anywhere that has a cashless bail policy. So some of the largest cities, some of the most left-wing states in America
Almost
have adopted.
all of them, right?
Illinois would be a great example of that, sir.
Oh, they have a great cashless bail. You don't even have to go to court sometimes. No, Illinois, I love that state. It's a great state, but it's run so badly by Pritzker. They threw him out of the family business, and he becomes governor. Now he wants to run for president. I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, we'll sign right here, right?
Sir.
So important. And this isn't Republican, Democrat. This is, and by the way, most Democrats agree with us. But this is just, we got to bring our country back. Okay? That's a big one.
Also on the issue of cashless bail, sir, this is a DC-specific executive order. In addition to the measures that we're taking that are quite similar to what we're doing around the country, in DC in particular, The objective is holding as many criminal defendants in federal custody and subjecting them to federal charges as possible. That means that they'll be held pre-trial in federal jail as opposed to just being cut back out on the streets due to a cashless bail policy.
Okay? And we have the room. And by the way, the prison they have in DC is horrible. It's horrible. People were subjected to live in that dog trap for so long, so unfairly. I have stories, you'll be hearing about them. That prison is horrible. Okay?
This is an executive order that contains a number of additional measures relating to crime and law enforcement in Washington, D.C. It charges, for example, your Secretary of Defense with establishing specialized units in both the D.C. National Guard and in National Guard units around the country, specifically trained and equipped to deal with public order issues. It charges all of your various federal law enforcement agencies with hiring additional personnel to allow them to surge personnel to Washington, D.C. to deal with the current emergency here. It does a number of other things in that space, and it also asks the Attorney General to look at D.C. Metropolitan Police general orders that have currently impeded law enforcement efforts in the city, and to potentially look at unwinding those that are stopping the police from doing their job effectively.
And are we going to ask this to be codified by Congress, all of these things?
I think we could potentially, yes, sir.
I think so. I think we should. I think we'll get it too. I think Democrats will vote. Well, it's hard to believe that they might not, but I think Democrats will actually vote for this. There's no auto pen that can do that, right? Look at that, Pam. Is that a good signature? Seriously, is that a good signature? Who can write like that? Nobody. I don't know. That's the other thing. I assume we're looking at the whole auto pen scam.
Sir.
Because the person that ran it said he spoke to it briefly twice about nothing. That means that all those pardons that he gave to some very bad people, very unpatriotic people, very evil people, it looks to me like those pardons are worthless. Because number one, you shouldn't use an auto pen very specifically. But if you do, it has to be a very good reason. And they have to know that the president wanted it. The president didn't want this. The president didn't know he was alive, okay? He never approved any of this stuff. He wasn't for open borders and all the other things. He was never for open borders. I've known Biden a long time. He was never very sharp, but he was never in favor of open borders and all of the other things he did to destroy our country. Let's go.
Lastly, sir, this is an executive order on flag burning. It charges your Attorney General.
Would you listen to this? This is very important. Flag burning. All over the country, they're burning flags. All over the world, they burn the American flag. And as you know, through a very sad court, I guess it was a 5-4 decision, they called it freedom of speech. But there's another reason, which is perhaps much more important. It's called death. Because what happens when you burn a flag is the area goes crazy. If you have hundreds of people, they go crazy. You can do other things. You can burn this piece of paper. You can, but when you burn the American flag, it incites riots at levels that we've never seen before. People go crazy. In a way, both ways. There are some that are going crazy for doing it. There are others that are angry about them doing it. Do you want to discuss that?
Sure. So what the executive order does, sir, it charges your Department of Justice with investigating instances of flag burning, and then where there's evidence of criminal activity, where prosecution wouldn't fall afoul of the First Amendment, and instructs the Department of Justice to prosecute those who are engaged in these instances of flag burning.
And what the penalty is going to be, if you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail, no early exits, no nothing. You get 1 year in jail. If you burn a flag, you get, and what it does is incite to riot. I hope they use that language, by the way. Did they?
Yeah, incitement is
incite to riot. And you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail. You don't.
So don't be burning them flags, right? I mean, there it is. There it is. So I play a little bit. What am I looking at time-wise? 24. So I got 6 minutes, but I might just end it early. It is what it is. This is Harvest Moon. 64. So this is the next phase, and I played the 16-bit, which was the Super NES, the other day. It's probably right underneath this video on YouTube. This would be the 64-bit version, so it looks more, Toy Story-ish, 3D, 64-bit. And why did Nintendo have a jump from 16-bit to 64-bit? Yes, it was to outdo PlayStation, which was 32-bit, the PlayStation 1. Now, is the PlayStation 2 64-bit? I have to look into that. I forget. I used to know all these numbers, but it might have been still 32-bit, and then it wasn't until, I guess, PlayStation 3 that they moved to 64-bit. But we can look all that information up. Even if it was like 32-bit, it might have had two cores by then. I have to look into that information. I can look all that up, and I can do a nice presentation to help explain that. But right now we're still on what is a bit. It's a 0 or 1, right? That's where we are as part of my page, and when it comes to computer science, basically, okay? And even with talking to my son about it. So there it is. But one thing I did want to point out with Trump, he said one key thing there is that Biden didn't want to open up the borders. And I believe him. I don't think Biden wanted to open up those borders, but that's what Biden ran on as soon as he became a part of that second, 2020, when he, I guess 2016, 2020. As soon as he became a part of the Democrat-run 2020, because 2016 was Hillary Clinton. I didn't vote for Clinton or Trump. I voted for Jill Stein. It wasn't a throwaway vote. It's a partition. Stop. No, it was, hey, I want to give Jill Stein and a Jamu Baraka a voice. It's about giving other people's voices a voice. So once we start to understand that, you will start to understand the truth that you need at least 4 political parties in order to give everyone a voice. Period. As long as it's a 2-party system, you heard Trump saying that the Democrats are actually on his side too. He's telling you the truth that they want to stay a party. They want to, but what they're doing is they're putting all the black leaders at the forefront, Jasmine Crockett, et cetera, right? And I can go down the list, and I am going to slowly add each name, and I'm going to share other YouTubers' opinions on this thing, but we're going to analyze the truth behind it, and seeing that they're using you as a pawn, especially Brandon Johnson. Brandon Johnson has a beautiful black family, and it's like, dude, why are you putting your own people in harm's way with protecting these illegal immigrants, which is the, that's where you're failing, dude. And the other way would be to include yourself in the LGBTQI, and that's even more hypocritical. And that's what happened to Armin Gilliam, or whatever his name is. I really spit on the ground with him, and that's why Obama's acting like he's gay now, because I spit on the ground with him too, with all that. It's okay to be gay, and like, stop, dude. It's time to step up, be a man, and be the leader of your family. That's true lordship. Being gay isn't even ladyship, right? And a woman be a lady, right? All that talking like what's his name? We'll get back to him and the fake Divine Niners. What's his name? Steve Harvey being a Q, and who else? Roland Martin being an alpha, and that's why I be looking out the corner of my eye. They not my fat brother. I never joined the fraternity. I was more like that. if you've seen the Spike Lee classic School Days, I was kind of like, I did want to pledge Kappa for the longest time. But you know, whatever, however the legend, y'all want to know how the legend went, I might explain it later on or whatever. But the Kappas are my favorite. You know, they are my brothers. I don't hate. You know, especially Dr. Vert. You know, Chris, and you know, Dino and George, and you know, they all my brothers. And the Q's. Mike is, you know, might be more my man than Vert, and I'm saying that facetiously. You know, Vert is my, you know what I mean? But Vert was my fourth BSU president, and then Mike was my fifth BSU president, Black Student Union president or whatever. And they wanted me to, you know, battle them in the round, but I ain't running for president, and I'm chilling, right? But now I am running for mayor of Philadelphia next 2 years. So, but you know, I'm finally I'm trying to get out of politics, but they keep dragging me back in, right? More denominational civics next time. I hope y'all enjoyed this quick recap. I know I gave y'all a lot of information without much board work. You know, I'll do some more board work and giving you the process to understand the tautological epistemology, but one thing at a time. I'm gonna do a couple more farming games. Like they pretty basic. I might do the definition of a farming game, and then I also want to talk about card games. So, and then I'm trying to build up to where next year I can go, all right, this is puzzle game week, this is farming game week, this is what's the name game week. It's, you know, just like I'm trying to do with, this is Superman week, this is Batman week, next week is Green Lantern week, or whatever superheroes, whatever list we want to do, because I do want to, you know, and you know, and I want to do records and hip hop, because so this is Rakim, this is you know, Big Daddy Kane, this is Karis One, EPMD, et cetera, you know, shout out to all the greats. LL Cool J, I love you, L, even though you blocked me on YouTube. I mean on Twitter. Love God, our Father, art of time, hip-hop, life, love, one. God is love, hip-hop is life, time is holy. Money is nothing more than that fourth dimensional illusion that really doesn't exist, because hip-hop is the art of making the most out of life. One, God is understood. Harmony, happiness, and peace to you all. All Allah, all God, love. Peace.